All right, well, many of us had some sort of aches and pains on a daily basis. Mine is my lower back and sometimes my buttocks. But often we blame that on sharing. You're welcome. But often we blame that on growing older. However, there are things we can do to help us move better and feel more comfortable. Now, Thane Siegel from BodyWise Physical Therapy is here to help everyone get moving without a little bit less, or with a little less pain. All right, so Thane, we hear physical therapy and we think about athletes and injuries, but who knew that it can help with our daily lives?
Absolutely. It's not just for after surgery. You know, people come in all the time, they're like, oh, you know, I heard it playing tennis. I want to avoid surgery. And that's exactly what we're there for, helping musculoskeletal issues.
All right, well, what are some common, you know, everyday issues that physical therapy can help with?
The low back is really common. Rotator cuff issues are really common nowadays. And in the younger generation, we're seeing a lot more with the text neck, the mobile devices issues. Yeah.
So how do you get that? It's just repetitive use? Or how
Exactly.
Does it work?
It's repetitive use. You kind of, your head's always down. The more and more time you spend there. In my generation, it was a Nintendo thumb, too much playing.
So we're looking at this X-ray. What's the difference between the two?
So it's just the position. It's the head straight and the head forward. If you look at this spine over here, there's a little bit of curvature in the spine. The X-rays, there's no curvature anymore. When they're up, there's barely a curve, and it's from leaning forward so much. The ligaments, the muscles, everything starts to strain, they get irritated, and then that initiates that inflammatory cycle.
Okay.
Interesting.
Well, I also wear a lot of high heels, and, you know, I think it's causing some of my lower back issues.
Yeah.
Can you explain how that would...
Well, earlier we did a movement screen on you, and what it really showed at the end when we did our overhead squat assessment, you had difficulty squatting low unless I elevated your heels. And because your Achilles were tight, which attached to your knees, attached to your hips, the old hip bone connects to the knee bone, that whole thing, the same holds true with your tissue, your muscle tissue.
Okay.
So that tightens up your knees and your hips and doesn't let you get all the way down, which might be inhibiting your glutes, or you're not letting your glutes work as efficiently as they should.
Now, Bobeth always says one of the reasons she wears such high heels, aside from look, is that she's more comfortable in them. You said, I'm happier walking in high heels. Is that because she's trained her body to do it?
Adaptation, exactly. The knee's a little bit more stable. You're loading that knee and quad more, but that's also creating like that tension in the glute, the tension in the hamstring, and you know, maybe not shutting off, but like reducing the efficiency
Well,
of your
how
glute.
do I undo that? Because now if I wear flats too long, I have
You
pain.
have more pain, right, exactly. So that's where the training comes in. And either like a really good personal trainer who can understand these things, or a physical therapist who specializes in exercise, which most PTs do, can help you kind of gap that bridge of like getting back to, tolerating flats.
Well, speaking of exercises, you have a balance test for everyone to see where we're standing. So let's go and try
it out.
All right.
So
Watch
tell
out
us
for
what
my
we're gonna
friend
do
here.
as you...
Yeah, so what we're going to do is just rule out some vestibular issues. So if we do a balance test, what I want to make sure is that you don't have any underlying vestibular issues.
Okay.
People might think of like vertigo as a common one. So if you guys put your feet together, we're going to have you look up and down to a count. I'm going to snap my fingers to a beat. So let's look up and down to the count of 5. Go ahead, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and stop. Good. You're going to go left and right. If you want to make it a little harder, let's close your eyes. Go ahead, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and stop. Good, open. And now you're going to go side to side, ear to ear. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and stop. Good. You guys all passed the test. If we want to make it a little harder, we'd stick you on another pad.
It is a little hard.
There was a little bit of rocking. In general, what that means is you don't have any vestibular issues, so now let's go ahead and work on your balance. And we can do single limb exercises using the pad, a BOSU, balls, all these different types of things where we can now strengthen your legs, and that will help your balance.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I feel like, and then you told us too, if you raise the actual thing you're balancing on, it also increased the test results, or is that how that
gets harder?
So for you, so if we put on 2 pads.
I volunteer, Stephanie.
You volunteer, all right.
Stephanie, I volunteer for her.
If you did the same test on 2 pads, it'll make it a little harder. So go ahead, Stephanie, step up on there. Let's get those eyes closed, feet together.
Eyes closed and, okay.
Yep, and go ahead and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and stop. And go ahead up and down, and up and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5
Is
and
it okay
stop.
to have my wings out like this?
Yeah. Technically, let's get those arms down. It makes it harder. Yep.
Yeah.
And one last time, side to side.
Which way? I'm doing
Left to right. Yep. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and stop. Good. Good. So it does make it a little harder. Usually, yes.
But no, I can feel it.
You can feel
I'm
it?
definitely getting wobbly up here.
All right, Stephanie, you should do it with your eyes closed.
This
Go
is
ahead.
payback for all the things I've ever
I
said
feel like
to
this is a good
Bobette.
idea.
You're
Just
right,
hold
because
on
I'm going to
just
fall
a
over.
second.
And so why is balance important to prevent people from falling?
So especially in the aging community here in the Suncoast, we have a lot of people over the age of 65. You know, falls is one of the hardest things to deal with. People, as they age, they have trouble getting up off the floor. So falling, can create injury, and then you can't get up off the floor. So you have this trifecta thing that happens.
So are we checking balance so that because there are exercises in therapy we can do to improve it?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Right now we're clearing you of vestibular issues to make sure we can work on your actual balance. And then
Because
as
just
we work
standing
on
here
your
is
balance,
moderately difficult if I'm wavering.
and that's part of your balance. So let's go. Let's
All right,
check
do it
you
with your
out.
eyes
Eyes closed. Go ahead.
Oh,
Up and
geez.
down. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and stop.
Yeah, that's
Good.
funny.
And left to right. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and stop. Good. And side to side. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and
Bobette,
stop.
I'm gonna get
Good. Yeah.
You got me multiple times, so it's okay.
Good, you
So you guys
passed.
can
Nice
get more
job.
information about how physical therapy can help you by going to Bodies Wise website, and they have all the details for you. Thank you so much, Thane.
You
And
got it.
then we're gonna have a summer party, and we need the products for it. We'll be right back.